Good evening, everyone. As you could probably decipher from the very easy to read text down at the bottom of the corner of the screen, I am sick. So, on Saturday, when I did a little bit more Lego of Brick Tales, I started to feel a little bit strange, like I was being affected by seasonal allergies, right? And that's what I chalked it up to for the whole day. And so after that, I felt, about the same. Sunday was more of the same, a little worse, but then yesterday was fine until last night when I just had full body chills. Like my body was jostling. It was shaking, it was vibrating, it was moving so fast because I was just so, my body thought at least that I was so cold. So I think that means that I'm fully sick because today I am so much worse than I was yesterday. Now, normally when you're sick, you're supposed to rest and drink lots of water. I have been drinking water, but I'm somehow not smart enough to do the first thing. So, hold on. Are you kidding me? What? Uh, what? Okay. All right, hang on. There we go. All right, now it's fixed. I don't know how that happened. I'm glad I caught that time. That happened before where it defaulted to my machine's internal mic instead of the actual mic in front of me. Can you now hear how gruff and gristly my voice is? This may be a nice quality of voice for some people, but in my case, my voice is not normally this gravelly because I'm sick, as it says in the text there. But since I don't know any better, I figure I still want to do some more sound design, so I'm going to continue what I did last Tuesday and work a little bit in Novum, this granular synthesizer here. So a really cool little thing, but I'm not going to be talking too terribly much during this. I'm just going to keep doing something. Maybe I'll put down a track and start writing something, unless I just stick to actually messing around with sounds. So that's what this stream is going to be mostly consisting of. So if anyone is curious whether or not I'm going to say anything, just read this down here. It's mostly a no talking stream. Oh, I like that. Did you like how big my cursor got? Do it again. Yeah, giant mouse cursor. Look at what it says there. Oh, it got small again. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get on with it. And the last sound that I ended up with is this. Man, that is quite a nice sound. Oh, I forgot I made that. Alright, so to avoid letting you hear my coughs, my sniffles, my throat clears, I'm gonna mute myself and maybe I'll pipe in again at the end of this hour or so when I finally tucker out, because I do have water, I do have food, I do have some energy, but again, the key point here is only some. So just want to do some of this, so I'm gonna mute and then I'll get right into it. So if you want, sit back and enjoy the sound, the sick sounds of Novum. Something I sometimes do for pads is to record regions and then let this part of the region just continue on as long as the release or the reverb lasts, just to get a sense of like how long that sound is after the MIDI region ends. So I know I said I wouldn't talk. Sorry. All right, go and bye bye again. Bye bye. Yeah, maybe something like that. I don't know. I'm just sort of fiddling, doodling, improvising wherever I can, whatever ideas come to mind while I mess with this. Already I'm having some ideas about what this could possibly be, like as a track, but I'm just not sure. What I'm not sure about is if I'm going to keep this idea relatively as it is right now or if I'm going to change it. I might change it. And I might change it with a revised sound of this. Like what I have right here, I might not use this as the final sound. So I'm going to figure it out. All right. One of the things about this for me, and you may have noticed it with the last few presets, is that at least with me, it's really easy for me to have samples, put them into Novum, either into a pre-existing preset. These I made, by the way, but just what I did to drag the envelopes into place here. It really is easy for me to just hear something and go, you know what, that just sounds good enough as it is. I don't need to change it, and I kind of want to break free from that. But every time it happens, I'm just like, oh, that sounds too good. That sounds too good to change it. I don't want to change it, and this is another one of those. But oh well. All right. I know I said I want to talk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just can't help it sometimes. Sometimes I feel like explaining things is okay to do. Sometimes. All right, I'm back. I am tuckering out. Even while doing all of that and not using that much energy, I have a very thick, very hard pulsating head from whatever this is that I've come down with. But yeah, that was another sort of foray, another exploration into some of the sounds that Novum, this thing, is capable of. And I am going to do more. I want to figure out if I can make something with this. I do have to. I know that Novum can do like a lot of different things. Like right now, a lot of the stuff that you hear has a lot of like jittering kind of in the sounds, right? And they can be smoothened up a bit more than I had them. So I'm gonna work with them a bit more to try and get something that sounds a little less like, what we showed here, even though that is kind of the main draw of this, is to hear granular stuff like that. It's just a matter of finding the sweet spot in the different sounds. And of course, it's very, very easy, at least for me, anyway. If you have good samples and you know how to use, any sort of granular synth, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's this. It doesn't matter if it's a free one. It doesn't matter if it's something in another synthesizer. Doesn't matter if it's like a reactor granular synth. It doesn't matter. You can make a number of different sounds and different cool things with this. Now with this one, you probably noticed or at least heard two of these. As I think I mentioned this the last time, but you can drop samples, entire samples, into each of these 6 slots and have that be what you hear. So for this one, that's a full sample. Now, if I were to put the sample that I put in here into the whole thing, it would separate into 6 separate parts. But if I put a sample into here, it doesn't separate. So it's good if you want to sort of separate sounds by their spectral content, which I think this is what this is supposed to be doing. If you drop it here, this is why it separates it like this, is that you can isolate each of those parts, right? And then from there mix with, other things as well. And of course, as I was showing you, you can change the shape of the envelope for the synth, and you can change the size of the grains, the density, to get all sorts of things out of it. And you could do it separately for each one of these. And of course, the orange chain is match all the settings, all the parameters with each one of these. And to have it deselected means you can have them be different settings per slot here. I think the other sound that I added was this. I like sounds like that. Yeah, I'm not necessarily recommending getting this over any other granular synthesizer because you can make this kind of thing work with really anything. You can make it work with like free stuff. There's actually a great, if you want free, well, maybe I shouldn't say this because Reactor technically isn't free. In fact, Reactor is more expensive than Novum, but if you have Reactor, there's a lot of free ensembles that you could just download and put it in. One that I recommend is an ensemble made by someone, I think his name is Glenn Darby, Grain X. It's a fantastic granular synth. And then there's also, I think Faceplant now has a granular module that you could use. Yeah, there's just so many free stuff out there, and so many paid for stuff where you could do similar things. You can't do this by separating out in the spectrum like you can with Novum, but you may not need to do it. Like if you mix, let's say you have 6 instances of whatever granular synthesizer you're using for the sound, you could pretty much achieve the same thing. But yeah, like any sample that you put in, you can transform it by changing any of these settings, and of course drawing envelopes. So if you have, say, a drum loop, and whatever part of that sound is in this slot for that drum loop, you wanted it to be a sustained sound. Let's say it's like a very noisy sound, like a hi-hat, right? If you do this, you can make it go the whole way. And you could do that with pretty much any sound that has a weird envelope, like with this. If you want to smoothen this out, you can just drag across, make a shape. So yeah, that is all the energy, all the sickness energy that I have for today's stuff. Let's do one more quick. And I will leave you to the rest of your Tuesday, almost said Thursday, Tuesday evening. Hope you all are faring better than I am. And as always, have yourselves a good night. Bye-bye. Good night. Bye-bye. Thanks for popping in if you popped in. If you enjoy the sounds, great. Let me know what you enjoyed about it. Nighty-night. Good night. Sleep well. Sleep better than I'm gonna be. Bye-bye.